Welcome back. Previously, we were discussing about various tools of measures of dispersion. Let us discuss the another tool, standard deviation. Standard deviation. The concept of standard deviation was first introduced by Carl Pearson, and it is the most important measure of dispersion and widely used in many statistical formula. According to Spiegel, standard deviation is the square root of the mean of the squares of deviation of all values of a series from their arithmetic mean. Actually, that sentence is the theoretical aspect of the equation form. So before we go into that theoretical aspect, let us understand the concept of standard deviation. Standard deviation is otherwise known as root mean square deviation or mean error or mean square error. Why it is called these? Why it is known as all these terms? Because the reason is that it is the square root of the means of the squared deviation from the arithmetic mean. That was the sentence specified by the Spiegel. It provides, why we are doing like that is, it provides accurate result because in this method the drawback of the ignoring the algebraic sign is overcome by taking the square of deviation, thereby making all the deviations as positive. And regarding the drawback, previously we learned mean deviation, and in the mean deviation we are doing the computations by taking signless d, because whenever you get a negative value, we can never consider the sign of the number, we consider everything as signless value. That was one of the demerit of mean deviation. In order to overcome that demerit only, we have using standard deviation method. In standard deviation method, the square root of the mean of the squares of the deviation of all values in the series from their arithmetic mean is used for computation. When we come to the computation part, then you will understand the sentence. The concept is, one of the drawback of the mean deviation led to the implementation of a standard deviation method. Like the methods which we have discussed previously, it also has two types of measures. One is absolute measure, another is relative measure. And just like the methods we have discussed, it too also has integral series, discrete series and continuous series. So the standard deviation, otherwise known as, represented by the Greek letter sigma. Equation is root of sigma x square divided by n minus sigma x by n the whole square. And we all know the meaning of variance. If you take the square of standard deviation, you will get variance. Next one is the above two. These two are the absolute measure of standard deviation. Coefficient of variation, otherwise known as relative measure, is standard deviation divided by mean into 100. Here we use mean as an average for the computation. That's why we are using mean. Previously in the mean deviation, we might use mean, median or mode. That's why we have used standard deviation by average. In this case, we will be using standard deviation by mean into 100. And what are the purpose of this absolute measure and relative measure? Absolute measure, here we have seen that standard deviation equation and standard deviation square equal to variance. We are using these equations to study the average of a certain subject. Sometimes you may given a details of the score of a batsman or a marks of a student likewise. So why we are using standard deviation is in order to measure or in order to identify whether the concerned sportsman or the concerned student, means the question regarding that, whether the student or a sportsman is having a good average. If you are getting a higher standard deviation value, that means whatever the subject matter is studying or under the process means they are having a good value. And regarding coefficient of variation, this relative measure is used to identify the extent of variation or the extent of consistency. If you are getting a value, usually coefficient of variation is used whenever there is a comparison between two set of details. We will come to that part during the computation section. Here, these are the equations used for the individual series. Next one, for the following data, find standard deviation, variance and coefficient of variations. It is regarding individual series. So let's note down the details in the table. X variable is written, and next one x square, because if you go through the equation you can see that sigma x square minus sigma x. So you need to take the total of x as well as total of x square. So once you write down the x, take the total, and now you need to write down the x square and also take the total of x square. So just substitute the details in the equation. Standard deviation square equal to sigma x square. Sigma x square is 560 divided by small n means number of items, minus sigma x divided by n, 70 divided by number of items raised to square. By solving that, 56 minus 49, and by solving that you will get 2.646. And be very familiar with taking the square root of a certain number. In the question we were asked to find standard deviation and variance. So variance is the square of the standard deviation value. 2.646 square is 7. And finally, coefficient of variation, the equation is standard deviation divided by mean into 100. So in this case we need to find mean in order to substitute the same in the equation. So mean is sigma x by n, and I hope you all know how to find the mean of any category of series. So the mean of this certain details is 7. So just substitute the details in the equation. Coefficient of variation is standard deviation by mean into 100. Standard deviation is already found, 2.646 divided by 7 into 100, you will get 37.8. So this is how you have to deal with the standard deviation situation. Let us discuss some of the other cases. Discrete series, and we all know what is the meaning of discrete series and what is the difference between discrete and individual series. Equation for finding the standard deviation in case of discrete series almost similar to the one which we have learned in the case of individual series. The only difference is we will be having a new variable, that is f. So it will be sigma fx square by n minus sigma fx by n the whole square, and fx square means f into x square, and sigma fx means f into x. Be very cautious while dealing with identifying the values of these variables. You are asked to find standard deviation from the following data. Size is given. Frequency is also given. So just write down these details in a table. X and f is directly given in the question. Next we need fx and fx. We need x square, fx and fx square. So first of all fx means x into f. Next is x square, the square of x, and finally you need fx square Once you have found out all these variables total, just substitute the details in the equation. So standard deviation is root of sigma fx square by n minus sigma fx by n the whole square. Substituting the totals which we have found here directly in the equation, and by basic mathematical operation you will get the answer 2.51. taking the root and the value of taking the root of the square root of all these values. All these are basic maths, so just go through it. Next one, find the standard deviation from the following data. It's a continuous series equation. Class and frequency is given. So just wrote down the details in the table. Class size represents class, F represents frequencies. Next one, you need to find mid-x. Whenever you are dealing with a continuous series, you have to first write down the mid value of the series or the class. Once you find the mid value, next you need to find fx. X square is the square of the mid-x, and finally fx square. I hope you know how to find all these values. Once you found the totals of concerned columns, just substitute the values in the equation. In continuous series, the equation is almost similar. The only thing is that while dealing with the equation in the case of discrete as well as continuous series, there is a new item known as f is there, and also one more item, don't forget it, the denominator is capital N. Capital N means total of the frequency. In case of individual series, we will be using small n, that means number of items, but in case of discrete as well as continuous series, n means capital N, and it represents the total of the frequency. So by solving these basic mathematical steps, you will get the answer 3.28. So this is how you have to deal with the cases regarding standard deviation. In some question they might ask only standard deviation. In other case situation they might ask standard deviation, variance as well as coefficient of variance. Depending upon the marks of the question, you may do it accordingly. In order to find the coefficient of variation, you need to find the mean. So you have to find the mean, then only you can find the value of the coefficient of variation. So these are the various steps that has to be taken into consideration while dealing with the standard deviation regarding each series, such as individual series, discrete series and continuous series. And regarding the computation part, sometimes you may given questions like the marks of a student, score of a batsman, or the performance of a certain company likewise. So what is the purpose of those comparisons? Standard deviation is the best method for comparing two different types of groups. That is, for example, let us discuss about the marks of two set of groups. Marks of one class and the marks of another class. So you will be given the marks obtained by students of one class, and you will be given another set of group is the marks secured by another group of the another class. So you may come across a question where you are asked to find standard deviation. The purpose of standard deviation is it helps in measuring or comparing two different types of series, and how we are going to interpret it. Absolute measure, otherwise known as standard deviation, is equal to root of this equation is used to study the average of a certain details. For example, we have been discussing about the example of marks of a student. Higher the average means higher performance or higher marks of the certain class of students. So if you are given two set of groups or two marks of two different classes, if you are asked to find which class is better, you need to use standard deviation method, and on the basis of absolute equation you have to make sure which one or which group of class is having highest average. So class is having the highest average is having good marks. So for that purpose the first equation is used. And next one, regarding second equation, that is coefficient of variation. This one is a second equation. This is otherwise known as relative measure. Why we are using coefficient of variation? Coefficient of variation is used to measure the variations between these two groups. For example, we were discussing about marks of the students. So we will use the equation coefficient of variation between these two groups. We will use the coefficient of variation on first set of group and coefficient of variation on the second set of group. and you will get two values. And how we are going to interpret it? In that case, you have to be very cautious and you have to think logically, because whoever getting the smallest value is more consistent. Consistent in the sense means, for example, we are discussing about the marks of a student, and by using the coefficient of variation, you have got, for example, 10 for group 1, and by using the coefficient of variation, another group got 80. So one is 10 and another is 80. You may think that 80 is bigger, so 80 is good. No, it doesn't work like that. Whoever getting the smallest value is having more consistent. Consistent means, we were discussing about marks of the student. Marks of the student means the marks of the students are consistent and it is not subjected to variations. Variation means extreme variations. So lower the value means higher the consistency. Higher the value for coefficient of variation is lower consistency. So you have to think very logically. Some situation consistency may be good, and in some situations consistency may not be acceptable. And that depends upon the nature of the question you are discussing. So this is how you have to deal with standard deviation cases, where you are asked to find interpretation on the basis of question given. So just go through the cases which we have discussed now, and try to work on as many questions as you can. Next one, for the activity part, try to find the answers for these three areas, that is, identify the merits and demerits of measures of dispersion. Next one, why standard deviation is considered to be the best measure of dispersion, and finally, difference between standard deviation and mean deviation. Try to find the theoretical aspects for these three questions as an activity. So let us go to the next area. Next area, measures of skewness. You might be familiar with another term relating to skewness, that is symmetric. I hope you remember that term, symmetric, asymmetric, likewise. So a skewness means asymmetric. So before we go into symmetric and symmetric concept, let us discuss the brief idea regarding the things which we have learned previously. We all know what is meant by a central tendency, and the measure of central tendency gave as an estimate of the representative value of the items for a series, and we all know that, and we have done numerous cases regarding that. Thus an average means mean, median, mode, likewise, represents the central tendency of a series, known as the average of the first order. Remember, it is known as average of the first order measures of central tendency. After measures of central tendency or the average of first order, we have learned about another set of details, that is measures of dispersion. So measures of dispersion gave us an idea of the spread or variations of the observations about the central tendency of the item. We have dealt in detail that part, very in detail. So measures of dispersion is otherwise known as average of the second order. So we have completed two set of orders, that is average of the first order, otherwise known as measures of central tendency, and next one, average of the second order, otherwise known as measures of dispersion. And the function of the averages of second order or dispersion is to describe the extent to which the average of the first order, that is mean, median, mode, are typical of the series. The thing is that the measures of central tendency and dispersion does not indicate whether the distribution is symmetric or not. Previously we have heard the term symmetric or asymmetric, symmetric or not. We may come across frequency distribution which differs widely in their nature and composition. Even then, they may have same central tendencies and dispersions. When the items in a series are dispersed about the central value in every fashion, the frequency curve representing the distribution will be symmetrical. We can draw a graph with the help of the given details. If the shape of the curve or a histogram is equal to the either side of the median, it is clear that the distribution is symmetrical. Otherwise, we can say that the distribution is asymmetrical. So, the purpose of measures of skewness is we are trying to measure whether there is equality in the variation between the items in a series. If there is symmetric distribution, then the mode, mean and the median will be equal. And if you draw out these details in a graph, then you will get a curve for which the two sides of the curve means from middle to the left hand side and middle to the right hand side, there will be an equal curve if it is symmetrical. If it is asymmetrical, it means there exists no equal proportion between the two sides of a curve. So, the purpose of skewness is how much asymmetric the given details are. Measure of skewness is trying to measure the level of asymmetry within a distribution. That is the concept of skewness. So, we can say that skewness means asymmetric. If a distribution is skewed, there will be more items of one side of the mode than the other side, whereas mean and median are pulled away from the mode. See, if the distribution is skewed, skewed means asymmetric. Asymmetric means unequal. Symmetric means equal. If a distribution is asymmetric means not equal, see, one side of the mode than the other, there will be more items on one side of the mode than the other side, and mean and median are pulled away from the mode. Because if it is symmetrical, everything will be in equal position. In simple sense, a skewed distribution means a distribution where mean, median and mode are not equal. We can represent the same in a graph, then you will get a clear picture about it. Regarding positive skewness and negative skewness. If the mean is greater than median and if the median is greater than mode, it is known as positive skew. And if you represent the same details in a graph, then you will get a right skewed curve. Right skewed means a curve which is extended towards right. If you look at the graph, you can see that there is more items in the right side than the items in the left side. If the mean is less than median and if the median is less than mode, it is known as negative skewed. In that case, it will be a left skewed curve, and it can be represented. And remember, positive skewness means any value greater than 0 and negative value means any value less than 0. Then it will be a negative value. That is the concept. We can represent these in a graph, then you will get a clear picture. See, the first picture is the example of a symmetric. Symmetric means here mean, median, mode, everything will be equal. You will get a curve, see, equal curve. Here this side and this side will be equal. This is known as symmetric. And we need to measure whether the given detail, the details means previously you have done a number of questions regarding marks of a student, age of a student, income of a family, likewise. We need to represent that in a graph to know whether the distribution is skewed or not. Skewed means whether there is difference exists or not. This one is a symmetric case. Symmetric case means here the distribution is even. But when there is asymmetric. Asymmetric means unequal or inequality likewise. See, the graph will be any of these two like this. This one here you can see that there is an extension towards right side. See, that is known as right skewed curve. It is known as positively skewed. If you go to the next one, see, you can see that in the left hand side there is an extension, so it is known as left skewed curve and it is known as negatively skewed. These are the concept of skewness and skewed situations. So let us go to further mathematical application where you need to measure the skewness of a distribution. So remember, whenever a distribution which is not symmetrical, otherwise known as asymmetrical, is called a skewed distribution, in such distributions mean, median and mode will not coincide and will be pulled away from each other. That is the concept. And regarding the pulling away from each other, here see there is a line in between these two extents. If you do the mathematical aspect, you can get a value that is mean, median and mode will be equal, and that point will be here. That was a concept. Previously we have discussed that part, that is relationship between mean, median and mode. In a symmetric distribution, the mean, median and mode will be equal. That is a graphical representation of that sentence or that property is this one. Your answer will be all lie in this point. But if it is a positively skewed and a negatively skewed, the answer will be here, it will be mean, the mode will be somewhere here and median will be somewhere here. And in case of here, similar situation, median will be here, mode will be here and mean will be here. This is how it will work out. Next area, measures of skewness. There are different methods for measuring the skewness of a given distribution. Let us discuss some of the methods, and we will be using one of the method for measuring the skewness. For the time being, we will discuss about each part. Why we are using this mathematical equation for measuring skewness is we need to find whether the distribution given is highly skewed or positively skewed or negatively skewed, and the magnitude and direction of the skewness. In order to find all these only, we are using such equations. So first one, Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness. This is the most common and important equation for measuring the skewness. Equation is skewness is represented by capital J, mean minus mode divided by standard deviation. This is the equation for measuring the skewness using Karl Pearson coefficient of skewness. And remember, here mean minus mode divided by standard deviation. In some situation, the mode may be ill-defined. In that case, you need to use another equation, that is J equal 3 mean minus median divided by standard deviation. Remember, 3 mean minus median. Mean and median is within the bracket. 3 is the common value. 3 into mean minus median divided by standard deviation. This is the equation for measuring the skewness when the mode is ill-defined. So this is the first equation for measuring skewness. Next one, remember the value of J. J means skewness. It should always lie between minus 3 and plus 3. Remember, while computing, you will get an answer, and finally you need to make an interpretation. And if you are getting a value between minus 3 and plus 3, you have to interpret accordingly. If it go beyond minus 3 and plus 3, and you have to interpret in such and such manner. We will discuss that part during the computation part. Next one, Bowley's coefficient of skewness, and the equation for Bowley's coefficient of skewness is Q3 plus Q1 minus 2 median divided by Q3 minus Q1. If you remember the previous sessions, you might know what is meant by Q3, what is meant by Q1, Q3, Q1. These represents quartiles. We have learned that part in quartile deviation. Try to familiarize those areas, because we will be using quartile deviations computations during the Bowley's coefficient of skewness. So you have to be very conscient while dealing with Bowley's coefficient of skewness. And next one, skewness based on moments. This one is the equation which we will be applying in the cases, so you have to be very cautious with that one. Skewness based on moments. We will discuss that part in detail in the next slide. Coefficient of skewness is measured by mu3 divided by root of mu2 cube. Usually moments is represented by mu, and we will discuss about mu and the concept of moments and mu in the next session. So just go through it. We will discuss about the further cases in the next one.